Brad Williams, Labor Compliance Group. We're going to talk about a company that elected not to pay, well, $732,000 penalty. If you're interested, stay tuned. What $732,000 in penalty really looks like. Here's the harsh truth. One subcontractor walked into a prevailing wage project and walked out with over $732,000 in fines. Why? Because the rules weren't followed. Certified payroll wasn't truthful, overtime was ignored, apprenticeship requirement flat out disregarded, and when called to answer for it, they didn't even show. This isn't just a cautionary tale, it's a wake-up call. Every line on your payroll sheet is a risk point. Every subcontract you sign carries exposure. So, let's pull back the curtain on how this disaster unfolded and what you absolutely must know to avoid the same fate. What counts as a public work? The project was a rehabilitation effort in Sacramento's 700 block, funded and overseen by the Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency. It carried all the hallmarks of a public works. That means prevailing wages apply. Apprentice ratios matter, and every contractor, whether primary or sub, must comply with California Labor Code Section 1771 through 1850. When Norogachi Construction took the drywall and framing contract, they accepted those terms in writing. But documentation doesn't mean compliance. As this case shows, signing the paper is one thing. Actually playing by the rules is another story. Miss the details, and you don't just risk penalties, you might lose control of the entire narrative. The CPR illusion, how fake records get built. At first glance, Norogachi's certified payroll records seemed fine. They submitted weekly CPRs and showed hours, but here's where the audit cut deeper. Former employees told a different story. They were paid piece rate, not hourly. Some never received overtime, and a few even admitted to handing wages back in cash. That's right, kickbacks. Off books, deliberate suppression. DLSE investigation matched pay stubs to interviews, then rebuilt the timeline using sworn testimony. The illusions of compliance crumbled. Lesson? A clean-looking CPR doesn't prove anything. Truth comes out in collaborated details, and that's where most contractors trip, thinking forms are protection when they're actually just clues. What it means for your job site. Here's the big takeaway. DLSE doesn't care how informal your sub's practices are. If they underpay, it's on you too. Prime contractor CFY Development had to cover the full $703,000 in wages and training funds. Norogachi still owes the $732,425 in penalties. Why? Because public works isn't optional compliance. Every DAS 140 you skip, every apprentice you don't request, every undervalued hour, it all adds up. If your site falls out of compliance, the wage board follows the paper trail. And if there's no paper, you're presumed guilty. That's why this case matters, because protecting your project means guarding every weak link. Anatomy of a DLSE audit. DLSE doesn't just ask questions, they build a case. Investigators sent questionnaires to 78 workers and got 35 replies. They verified classifications like drywall installer, taper, and laborer. They compared responses with pay stubs, training fund contributions, and apprenticeship records. Then they calculated violations. $200 per underpayment, $25 per missed overtime, $100 per day for failing to dispatch apprentices. Total, over 4,600 violations, and still, Norogachi never showed up. That absence sealed their fate because DLSE doesn't need your side if your silence speaks volumes. Audit compliance isn't about being perfect, it's about being responsive, documented, and provably aligned with the law. The defense that never came. Incredibly, Norogachi asked for a review, filed for paperwork, got on the record, and then ghosted every legal notice sent their way. They ignored the pre-hearing conference, skipped the settlement meeting, and when their hearing day arrived, no one came. The result, DLSE proceeded without them. They accepted exhibits, testimony, and reviewed 18 pieces of evidence, all unrebutted. That silence became consent. It's a brutal irony. Norogachi had their shot at defense and surrendered it by absence. Don't let that be you. Show up, speak up, or pay up. because silence in cases like this is louder than guilt. Turning risk into competitive edge. This isn't just about avoiding penalties. It's about becoming the contractor that others trust, the one that understands prevailing wage isn't red tape, it's your reputational insurance. When you request apprentices properly, file timely DAS forms, and maintain airtight payroll logs, you're not wasting time. You're shielding your profit margin. In public works, clean compliance is a business strategy. It's what separates the bid winner from the lawsuit target. So yes, but it's work that wins you contracts, protects your team, and builds a legacy of integrity. That's the real opportunity most contractors miss. Build smart, stay clean, lead boldly. In the end, Norogachi case isn't just a headline, it's a blueprint. A blueprint of what not to do, but also a signal of what's possible. You can build profitably and ethically. You can win big without cutting corners, but it takes vigilance, discipline, and a culture that values accountability. Start with your paperwork, know your classifications, educate your team, and lead like it matters, because it does. Whether you're a small sub or a seasoned GC, the bar just got higher, so rise with it. Build smart, stay clean, lead boldly, because anything less is a cost you can't afford. Brad Williams, Labor Compliance Group. Thanks for watching. Hope that helps. See you soon.